afternoon, staff. I'm HSC Cameo Gorman, and I'm here to share with you the steps to help break the chain of infection of H1N1. First, let me give you some background information of H1N1. As stated on the Center for Disease Control website, the 2009 H1N1 is a new influenza virus. The reason we're here to talk about it today with you guys is because they've also stated that children under the age of 5 are considered high risk, and if they contract the virus, could suffer from severe complications. It was first discovered in the U.S. in 2009, and it's transmitted between people the same way seasonal influenza viruses are transmitted, through coughing, sneezing, or touching contaminated surfaces, and then by contaminating yourself by not using proper hand sanitation techniques, which we will discuss later in this training. It's also important that all workers receive their regular season flu shot. This is the first line of defense for the body, as it prepares the body to fight off the disease when it becomes exposed. It is not a guarantee of immunity, but it helps the body fight the infection and thus lessen the symptoms experienced by the person exposed. What symptoms may you be experiencing? A cough, fever, sore throat, runny or stuffy nose, body aches, headache, chills, and fatigue are all symptoms that you could expect to have if you've contracted the H1N1 virus. Sounds very similar to the common cold. It's going to make it difficult this season to determine between the two. If you believe you've contracted the H1N1, you should stay home. And you should also consider keeping family members home because they may have been infected also. It's also important that you contact your supervisor and inform them that you're not feeling well. This will allow your supervisor to pay attention to possible outbreaks of H1N1 disease, as other co-workers may show signs and symptoms of the disease, and they may be sent home also to help reduce exposure to the children and fellow co-workers at the CDC. It's also important to inform your parents if a worker has become exposed, so they will be on the lookout for signs and symptoms in their children. Not only if it was another worker, but if another child at the CDC was sent home, it's also important to notify the fellow parents of the other children also. The children should experience and would possibly experience the same symptoms as an adult: cough, fever, sore throat, runny or stuffy nose, body aches, headaches, chills, or fatigue. But sometimes in children, as you guys probably are aware, because they are small, they are unable to express the symptoms they are feeling as easily as an adult can. So some of these other signs and symptoms may be something that you need to be on the lookout for. You also need to educate your parents so they're aware that if their children or infants show any of the following signs, they may have been exposed to the H1N1 and should be evaluated by a medical professional. And they're as follows: fast breathing or troubled breathing, bluish skin color, not drinking enough fluids, not waking or not interacting, being so irritable that the child does not want to be held, flu-like symptoms that seem to improve, but then they return with a fever and a worse cough, or if they have a fever with a rash. Children and infants are more susceptible to this disease as their immune systems are not as well developed. This also highlights the importance of juvenile immunizations against H1N1 virus. It's important for the children to receive their annual flu shots also to help lessen and reduce the symptoms if they are exposed. If the child has been immunized, as I said, if they've been immunized, they'll have less likely to have as severe symptoms if they have not. The second level of defense is a good offense. During the flu season, it's very imperative that we keep yourself, mainly your hands and everyday objects, sanitized in relationship to the children's toys. If you take the universal precaution rule that applies to the medical field, you will be well on your way to protecting yourself and others from the H1N1 virus. The universal precaution rule states that you treat every individual as if they are infected. How does this apply to the H1N1 virus? It applies with regards to keeping your hands clean after touching any objects, shaking hands, opening doors, and basically at any time you would touch something and then touch your mouth. The easiest way to maintain this is to carry a small bottle of hand sanitizer. These are very effective in killing germs, and they are easy to use when there's not an available water source and soap nearby. They should be used when you cannot or it is not practical to wash your hands. For example, when you're outside in the play yard watching the children. You should, however, wash your hands with warm water and soap as soon as practical and use a hand moisturizer to keep your hands from becoming dry and cracked. For children, they should have their hands washed prior to eating, using the toilet, and after playtime. Children are more susceptible to germs because at a young age, everything they touch usually goes into their mouth. This makes it more of a challenge for the daycare providers trying to keep daily objects and toys clean after being contaminated, because we all know children will sneeze and then just go on and rub their hand and touch anything else that's nearby. At the end of the day and after an activity is complete, the children are no longer be playing with items. The caregiver should spray down the toys and common items with hospital disinfectants such as Lysol to kill any germs or viruses. To sum up how to break the chain, you should get your H1N1 vaccine when it becomes available. Stay home if you feel ill. Notify your supervisor. Wash your hands and the children's hands. Disinfect the toys and common use items at the end of the day or the end of each activity. Basically the same stuff you do to combat normal flu season times. If you have any further questions or information needed from this, you feel free to ask me, or go to the CDC website and type in H1N1 flu virus, and it will give you a full list of resources and information about the disease. Thank you.